Alright, everybody. Welcome back to the dungeon. It's your boy, DB4Me, also known as the legendary Cage. You already know what it is. We back on the grind. Daily quest. Back for some more Pox Nora. I'm excited. Now, let's check things out. It's looking like today's daily quests. We got Highlander, Shaman. And you know we do the training day. We will not be doing the PvP victories on camera. So yeah, I'm not sure if we're gonna film any of the heroic quest grind today. We might not get to that. I might do a live stream trying to get the rest of those quests before the 8 days is up. Because I think that Nora War quest is still glitched out. I'm gonna attempt it again off cam. I did it 4 times off cam. And I don't know if I'm losing count, if I'm not just doing it right. But it seems like I gotta skip almost 100 turns just to get that Nora War, generate 100 or more Nora quest. I'm gonna try it again, but I think I'm gonna do a live stream so you know maybe the devs can fix these daily quests. You gotta work hard for these heroic quests, and you know this is my 100% free to play account, so I'm really not trying to. I need all the golds, all the golds. All right, now getting into it. You know how we do these things. We go right into the deck tech. Let's get it. For this deck, I'm going to go Bone Saw for this quest. Let's automatically get into it. Now, with the daily quest being Highlander, you know, play 2 games using a battle group with no duplicate runes. Ah, you see I didn't say deck this time, right? I did say deck tech, though. We're going to call it a BG tech, battle group tech. That's our new lingo, BG tech. Anyway, moving along. If you pay attention, I don't have no duplicate runes. Now, when I first was building this deck, I thought it was going to be, you know, a whiff because, one, I don't really play this deck a lot. So I don't really have a lot. I didn't have a lot of great cards for it. And I didn't have a lot of good duplicate runes at all. Especially not none of the more rarer cards, legendary cards of that nature. So what I did was, you know, I took out all the duplicate runes and all the cards that were just horrible for this archetype. And I just went and bought a bunch of cards, man. I usually don't buy cards, especially for Quest, but this is one of my more underdeveloped decks and factions, so to speak. So I figured I could spend a couple hundred crystals on, you know, building this deck up. And I'm pleased with the results. It's actually looking to be a very fun deck because I did have the zombie deck that I think I displayed the other day, or I played a lot of the other day, actually. But this deck, the Forsaken Waste, this is the skeleton theme, and I really, really enjoy these thematic decks. They're not meta at all. They're not the best decks. They're just the base decks you can buy at the store with little to no modifications. So let's get into it. Starting off, you know we get all the angels. We run in the Angel of Death in this particular BG battle group because it's just support. You know, the angels are usually a pillar of the archetype. But, you know, this angel is just running strictly support. It does have the loss of life attack, which I'm not really going to be using like that. The main support ability I'm looking for with this guy is to, you know, support the front line with that dread ability. Enemy champions within 8 spaces of this target champion have -2 damage. Now, that is amazing. Then we got the horrific aura. You know, anytime somebody attacks this unit, they become frightened for 2 turns. And that attack misses. So, it's like, it's hard to hit this champion when it goes up there, dread everybody, minus their damage. It has +2, you know, armor or defense. It's just a tank. It's a good tank. It's a basic attack tank. It doesn't really have any good abilities besides the horrific aura. You know, it just makes everybody blow their load. Then we got this guy, another support guy. He's not that strong, but he does have multi-attack 2, rank 2. He has rend, which is eviscerate for 3 turns. So that does about 6 damage over the course of 3 turns. And, you know, that's on top of his regular attack. So I like this guy. He has multi-attack. He can actually attack 2 different champions for 10 damage and eviscerate to both of them. So he does like a total of 16 damage. He's really a glass cannon, but I'm really using him for the shattered ability. You know what I mean? Any equipped champions, I get to smash, just destroy their equipment off the rip. And I get +2 speed and +3 damage for 5 turns. Perfect. Not all that impressive, but he'll work. Now this guy is one of the 6 witches or wizards that I have in this deck. They're not skeletons at all, but they do all follow the undead theme. The only card I have that doesn't follow the undead theme is, if I'm not mistaken, the angel, but that's cool. She's still a death angel, angel of death. I don't know why she's not undead, but yeah, anyway. This guy is key. He is basically, he's not a legendary card, he's not a hero, but our deck is basically built around this guy, kinda. Because we want our summons to die. I'm going to show you the summons in a minute, but this guy has Eradicate. Spend all charges target champions within 5 spaces lose 2 HP for each charge spent this way, up to 40 HP. So basically you can get 20 charges on this guy, move him within range of any group of people and just nuke them for 40. You don't even have to attack. I wouldn't even attack with this guy. I'm going to keep him on a rear lines like he's a ranged attacker and just stack up charges and then walk up and then hit the charge. Now he does have Harvest Organs, which means right after he collects a Nova Grove, he gains 3 charges and plus 4 max HP permanently. So what you'll do is you'll stack up your charges. You know, he'll get the Nova Globes that your group leave behind just to stack charges and AP. Then he'll walk up and eradicate everything, scoop all those Nora Globes up, and you can keep pushing your army forward. Then, on top of that, when anybody else destroys a champion, he also gains a charge with the death charge. So you don't really need him getting the charges on its own. He can just sit back and play that role. Again, then we have one of, I thought this guy was a hero. He should be. But the Black Blade Baron. This guy is amazing. He has attack, physical, sapping, armor. That means when he's successfully attacked, whatever champion attacks him loses 3 HP. That means he won't really be getting multi-attacked a lot or double tapped hardly ever because of that ability. That sap and armor it's insane. You got to use abilities on him to get 2 attacks off, an ability and a regular attack. It's just insane. Then he has Grave Bind. Basically, whenever he kills or any champion dies, we get a free Grave Warrior with no upgrades summoned right next to this guy. So he just constantly summons skeletons as he kills and other people's kill champions. He just get endless skeletons. I want to get Surge Skeleton on this guy. That's why I'm trying to level him up. But he has Command Charge. That means he can just basically turn all of our skeletons into chargers. You know, they just basically do damage for the move points they use. I like that. Then he has Dictate. He can, you know, just take 5 HP from one of our summons that's about to die anyway, or, you know, somebody that has a health ability, and he permanently gets 1 damage and 2 AP for the, you know, 2 AP permanently. And that's great because he can build himself up. He can just sit back, sap energy from people, dictate, steal a couple of the HP, just get turned into a one-hit quitter. Then moving along, we got this guy. He's elusive. Attack, physical. He also has the fear ability. He can frighten units. That means it's hard to surround this guy and it gets attacked. So he also has dread. I like this dread ability. Then another guy that the deck is a pillar for this deck. He has Commander. Now friendly champions within 5 spaces that share race or class with this champion get +2 damage. And it doesn't stack, obviously. He's our only commander, and he's a ranged guy, so he can basically sit at range, and the front line and the range support characters, and the range and support characters would all get the buff. If he just is, you know, somewhere in the middle of the group, he's going to buff the entire party with that +2 damage. That's really our only global damage modifier. So he's very important to keep alive. But as you can see, he's going to be pretty easy to keep alive. You know what I mean? He has a lot of good abilities with the curse effect, but I'm not really going to be paying too much of that. And he's a 2x2 guy, so he's kind of big. He's easy to hit, but, you know, I'm going to keep him safe. Then we got this guy. This is when the deck start kicks in the high gear. This chick, I mean, she has vulnerability fire, but we're still going to try to keep her out the way of fire damaging champions. She also has summon skeleton and attack magical. I always like attack magical because vulnerable magic and vulnerable physical is probably the most vulnerabilities I see the most. Then she has defiling aura. Defile basically means you can't be cleansed. Then she have right of power. Now this is another a way of globally amping up the power of the entire team. Now what she's usually going to do is when a champion is about to die from a damage over time effect or anything weird, like they have, 5 or less HP, I'm going to use Rite of Power to destroy that champion. Or if they're about to get one shot as soon as the champion, if any champion is about to die before I give up my turn, I'm going to destroy it and just add 1 damage to everybody. That's perfect. So she's going to beef up the squad's attack power overall. Then we got one of our first dragons. This guy is resistance magical, resistance frost, attack frost, and you know, things like that. He's just a good tank. He doesn't really do that great with abilities, but he does have the 1 defense and 11 base damage, which is great. Then if he happens to get a cold snap off, you know, his savage exploit gets him plus more, you know, a little bit more AP and base damage. And he's a 2x2 warrior, which means he's hard to get around, and it makes it harder for you to get to our rear line with these 2x2s. Then we have another one of our summoner witches. We have the necromancer. You know, attack red electricity. It doesn't really change anything. It's just an electric attack. She also has the curse and boost skeleton. This is very important because skeletons don't really have a lot of HP. But long as she's alive, they get +5 max HP. It doesn't really stack with the other boost skeletons, but as long as we have at least one of our champions with this ability out, we get bonus HP. And if you add that to the relic, everybody just has +10. I love that. Then we got this guy. He's really in for the quest. I put him in originally for the quest, but then I realized he can actually be very useful. With the howling attack, is great. He can frighten people, and he gets a damage modifier. He has a decent amount of base attack. He's real slow, but I'm not really worried about that because he do have the 5 range disease breath, which is going to be very, very effective in a match like this. Disease for 2 turns is, you know, they take an extra 3 damage, so that's pretty cool. Then we got this guy. This guy's another just frontline tank. He doesn't have a lot of HP, but you know, with the +10, he'll be at 54. He has multi-attack rank 1, and he has Hunter Mage, which is very good. I like to get him on a back line and just start cleaving at their ranged characters. He has cleave, so he can attack 2 characters at once. I like that. But he's more of a glass cleaning too. This guy's in totally for support. He has blockade, meaning, you know, you can't just gain HP through abilities. He has 3 defense and 60 HP. That means he's a heavy, heavy, heavy tank. He's slothful, meaning he's not going to be using a lot of his abilities, like crush and charge and things of that nature. But he has Seism, which means he basically one-shots a relic without even having to touch it. So I'm just going to hold him until they put out their relic that boosts to everybody globally. Then I'll just take that out. So he's just support. Then we have our second dragon here. Attack magical, haunted visions. At the beginning of its turn, this champion gains 2 AP and 3 damage and 1 defense for 2 turns if your opponent has 35 or less Nora. Now, that ability doesn't seem like it's that effective because, you know, they usually have about 35 Nora around there, a little bit less, especially if they don't cast a spell. Because once you buy your champions, you're usually left over with about around 40, you know, 50 Nora that you can't use to spend on a champion, but you got it left over to next turn. But there's a way I can kind of mitigate that and have this Haunting Visions trigger a lot more often. And I'm going to show you how in a minute. You know, the Shadow Spawn is not that important. I would rather have Hidden Dead Magic Zone and stuff like that, or Shadow Strike. Then he also has Flanking, which is a very powerful ability. As you can see, he has 11 base. But when another champion is engaged to whoever he's attacking, he gets +5 damage. So that's insane. That's insane. So if you can get off Haunted Visions, which is going to be triggering a lot, that's +3. So he gets basically +8. He's going to be hitting for 19. This guy is a beast. And he's stealthed. So, yeah. Then we got this guy. He's just basically replaces himself when he dies. He's not that important. He doesn't really hit that hard. He has a charge and detection. He's there for support. But when he dies, he spawns a skeleton in his place. So he's like 2 units in 1. I like him. Then we got this guy. He's another heavy, heavy hitter. You know, he has Render. Then he has Scythe Whirl. I like that attack. Then we have this guy. He's just in for beef. He has Berserk and Enrage. Again, +7 plus the +2. That's another +9 on a 9 damage guy. That's about 18 attack. He's going to be a beast. Then we got another one of our priests, our long range. Now, this is when that ability I showed you in the other skeleton comes in, because we have Tariff. Every time an enemy champion is destroyed, the controller loses 8 Nora. That's gonna come into play a lot because we got a lot of heavy hitters on the front line and we're gonna be one shotting a lot of people. So with that guy and combined with our next guy I'm gonna show you, they'll be losing 16 Nora for each champion they lose. So they're gonna be suffering on Nora. Then we have this guy, Surge Skeleton, Summon Skeleton. That's our third skeleton summoner. I know I'm going fast, but I'm trying to get through this in a reasonable manner so we can get on to the games. I'm actually excited to get at the games today. Then he has Boost Skeleton again. It just helps support that ability that our other, witch had or human. That's perfect for me. It's an extra boosted skeleton. Keep our guys with the health. Then this guy, the Undead Sage, he's the only hero of the deck. All of his abilities, you can read those. He has everything, but the most important ability to me he has is Tariff. Same ability as that. So if you get these guys out at range, they can just start taxing your enemy heavily, and it's going to be hard for them to compete with our champions because we do have 3 summoners, which is basically free champions. Then we also have these guys taxing the enemy's, Nora, so they can't produce as many champions as we can. Then we have a couple of ways that we could have gained extra Nora, but I didn't want to go with that strategy. I'm just going to go with the straightforward skeleton summoning with great support strategy. Upfront tough skeletons with great rare support and things of that nature. Then we went with about 3 damage spells. We got this one. It's a single target, but this is real good. It takes half of anybody's HP. So this is great for when somebody has just got spawned. They spawn a 60 life, 55 life guy. Just take 30 off the rip. No problem. 1 spell. Then you can just probably get a double tap and kill them after that. That's pretty cool. Then we got this. This is another global spell. It basically does 10 damage over the course of 4 turns, but it's global and it hits everybody that's damaged. It's not no area of effect. That's great. So you can just barely damage a champion from any effect, and they'll get damaged by this. Festering Wounds. Now, I wasn't too sure about mobilization until I realized that, double tapping with a lot of our champions is going to be key, and I want to make sure that when our guys start to do their push, we don't get held up by any type of AP restrictions, with the lumbering and things of that nature and all of our, slow moving champions. I don't really want that to be a problem, so I just do a mobilization in there. It's basically, it just gives us everybody a 3rd attack or possibly a 2nd attack when they would have had 1. So it's basically a free double tap for everybody. I like that. Then we got another area of effect healing spell. It's crazy I'm using so much healing spells on undead deck, but we do have a lot of glass cannons and we need our front line to stay alive, or we're going to be in some trouble with our ranged dudes and our flimsy summon skeletons. We have another, single target heal spell. That's great. This is a good spell to use right after you use this spell, because you can essence drain, take a maximum of about 30 from a guy on average, maximum about 30. Then you can take another 15 with this, so you just took a huge 3/4 of somebody HP and gained 15 HP for this, but they had to have 0 AP, so that's situational. Then we have the Bone Mine. You can read this. It's OP. It's as good as it looks. It really is. Then we have the Vex automatic. Then we have the Graveyard. We can just summon skeletons, and our avatar takes the damage. I don't mind that. It's gonna be hard for him to get to our avatar anyway. Then we have this Bone Fracture, Augment Creation. That means all friendly champions come into play with +2 damage permanently. So we want to get this Cloak of Skulls down immediately. This is our 2nd global damage increasing spell. Now with this and our other witch sacrificing skeletons, we should be globally increasing damage by a significant amount for our range support and our melee close range characters. Then we have this Crown of Corruption. You can read it. It basically deals 1 damage to a creature, but then you get to control it. So you can like walk it off a cliff, make it waste all of its AP running into the middle of your forces. You know, you could like tap it once with a ranged guy, then run it all the way to the other side of the map. You can run it into traps, like put it closer to your people so they can hit it. It's a lot of good things you can do with this Crown of Corruption, but you have to be careful because you know you lose health for using it. But with a champion with a decent heal ability, it's pretty good. But that's the deck. Stay tuned for in a few minutes. We're gonna run a couple of these daily quests. And thanks for tuning in. It's your boy DB4Me, and I'm out.